Hello, my kings, queens, and in betweens. I hope everyone is having a spectacular morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is. I just wanted to hop on here really quick and talk about choices, okay? Now, you'll see me looking down on my phone because I have taken a couple notes here. So just, we know there's no edits here. I haven't prioritized time to do edits. So we're just going to see how this goes, okay? So basically, I want to talk about choices. I feel like it is inevitable that someone in your life, right, could have been a parent, teacher, loved one, cousin, auntie, stranger, has informed you that life is about choices. And it feels very cliche and very like, okay, like, what do I do with that? It may be a good idea to break down some of these phrases because I feel like, most of us think they're good notions, but really when you peel back the layer and you get a little life on you, they start to mean a lot more. But I digress. I'm going to stay on topic. That's one of my struggles. Okay, so choices, back to that. So the one specific choice that I wanted to lead with, right, is when you are having a setback, right? When you're down bad, that's what the kids say. I don't know if they still say that. I'm sorry if that's not appropriate 5 years from now when we watch this video, but I'm saying it. So basically, when you're in a valley, having a hard time, I feel like there are choices to be made. And one of them that is very powerful is like, are you going to choose to see this as a setback or is this going to be a setup? Is it going to be a setup for something else? Is it going to be a setup for something great, something next? All right. So I feel like that's going to guide your actions during this time. So it's really important that you decide early on, even before stuff happens. Like, how are you going to choose to look at this? Right. And so, faith, that's a big one. And I do think that's something you have to work on and build like a muscle. But I will say that faith and fear kind of require the same thing. And there's times when I think you have to make that choice about which one you're going to endorse. And as you know, all of our actions come from beliefs, right? I just plopped down in this chair. I didn't check it first. I had faith that it would hold me up and I wouldn't fall to the ground because every time I've sat in this chair, it's held me up. Now, did I go through this course of thinking before I sat here? No, I just sat here. But when you think about the actions that you take throughout the day, they are all rooted in some sort of faith or some sort of belief. So I want you to make sure that those are in check, right? And I don't think this is a cookie cutter solution. There's not one answer for everybody. It requires, once again, that you take that space, to quiet the noise of all the expectations around you and really figure some things out, and again, this is all about moving from the passenger seat to the driver's seat of your life. Now, some things, not to sound insensitive, right? Some things are what they are. And there's nothing that you can do about them. Like, just, all the isms, right? Until our world can get to like a more evolved place. And I don't know if that's going to be in my lifetime, but there's isms that exist, right? So these things are out here and it's not your fault. These are things that are like out of your control. But knowing that that's knowledge, then you need to figure out like how you're going to move. How are you going to move, right? Are you going to believe in possibility before it appears, or are you going to believe in failure before it happens? Now, the failure before it happens is kind of my specialty just because, I work with a lot of people who suffer from anxiety. It's real. Now, I'm sure whether you suffer from that or not, as an official diagnosis, you experience the emotion, right? And so the emotion is that it's fear. You're the fear of failure before it actually happens. You're thinking about it, you're anticipating it, right? So that might happen from time to time, and I think you want to be really skilled and recognizing when that happens and being able to shift. Because in one moment, in one thought, you can't do that and have faith at the same time. Now, you can go back and forth. You can go back and forth, but you cannot do both at the same time. You can go back and forth really quickly, right? You can go back and forth really quickly. So I like to live in the real world and be realistic. I don't think you're going to completely wipe out, you know, the emotion of anxiety. I think it is actually a good thing. Sometimes we need that, but let's try to catch it. Like when you're spiraling, you're ruminating, just thinking about things over and over, just stop and think, first things first, is that helpful? I often will have this subconscious belief that the more I think about it, the more I worry about it, it's going to get me closer to the solution. Now, that is different than brainstorming, trying to problem solve. That will get you closer to the solution. What I'm talking about is not that. It's just rerunning the script of what happened over and over in your head, not for a better understanding, but just to do it. Just to do it, right? And so catch yourself when you're doing that. Before we try to go to next steps, start there. Just try to catch it and understand what belief does this come from? Like, what are you believing? And I'll try to give some examples in another video, but I'm trying to do my best to not make these go on and on. I'm very long-winded. But, a lot of times this might be, you might catch yourself thinking, well, what if it doesn't work out? So when you catch yourself thinking that, what if it doesn't work out? Also think, what if it does work out? So in a lot of cases, the chances are the same, right? So which one are you going to think about? Like, which one are you going to root yourself in, right? I would suggest, unsolicited advice, I understand nobody asked me, but I would suggest that you rock with the what if it does work out, because that is going to give you a different set of actions, right? You're going to move differently. You're going to take different actions if you're rooted in that mindset. So bottom line, just to wrap it up, coming back. The bottom line is, which one are you going to choose? Like which one are you going to rock with? Which one are you going to go with? Right? And so, yeah,